99% of the time, these people on social media ain't gonna tell you the whole truth.
That last clip was a clip from RJ Hampton, and I know y'all have seen RJ Hampton and his baby mama Tiffany Jeffco all over TikTok the past 2 days. And while I don't agree with him, I do think that that statement that he just made is very true, because no matter how much someone's a TikTok influencer, whatever, a celebrity, no one is completely telling the full story. And the whole situation with Tiffany Jeffco and RJ Hampton is a prime example of, like, you can't wish for somebody else's life because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. The grass is almost never greener on the other side, like, almost never. This is the nasty, ugly side that we don't see of dating an athlete. Yeah, it gets very, very ugly. Behind all the bags and the trips and the get ready with me for game days, these girls are going through hell with these men. And these are not regular men. These are men with power. These are men with money. So take the things that a normal man does and multiply it by 100, because it exemplifies, it just like multiplies when the man has money. Like, you could not pay me to mess with an athlete knowing what these girls go through on a daily. To me, it's just not worth my sanity and my respect to deal with these people just to get a nice trip and just to get a couple bags and a certain lifestyle. I'm not willing to trade in my dignity for that. And this goes to show the ugly side of, what's going on behind the cameras. Like, this man just admitted to physically assaulting this woman with zero hesitation. Like, he said, like, yeah, I did it, and what? Like, no one's gonna believe you. Like, oh my gosh, if he's saying it so candidly like that, I can't imagine, like, what, like, how the extent to the things that were going on behind cameras and behind closed doors that we were just unaware of. Young girls, let this be a lesson to you when you sit up and you're like, oh, I wanna date a rapper. I wanna be a basketball wife, a football wife. They are going through hell, and behind all those smiles and, oh, we're at the game, we're in the suite, like, this is what's going on behind closed doors. And I don't really know if or how this even relates to this story, but I was on this other creator's page, and her name is Alicia. I'll tag her, but she was like, you know, um, these men's preference is our protection as black women. As black women, we are always being, like, torn down by really the world. And men love to go out their way to be like, oh, I don't date black girls, I don't date dark skinned girls. And obviously, I'm dark skinned too, so I've dealt with that as well. And I never take offense to it, because, like, this is an example of how these men with preferences are treating their preference. Like, that's not excusing anything, but it's like, you know, that was a way, in my opinion, for God to say, like, this is a blessing in disguise. Like, this man don't want you, but look how he's acting. It's just, like, ugly. So, like, to my, like, fellow dark skinned women, it's like, let them men have a preference. Let them men not like you, because this is how they're treating their preference. Someone that they actually do like. So imagine how he would do you. Like, don't ever beg nobody to mess with you. If someone is not attracted to you or doesn't like you and you're not feeling wanted, just change your audience. And that goes with anything. If you have, like, a company, a brand, and it's not selling, you don't need to change your product. Maybe you just need to change the audience that you're putting your product in front of. And that goes with dating. If you don't feel appreciated where you're at, change your audience. Like I said, I don't know if that's relevant to this situation or how it even would be, but I thought that was a good point that she made. Like, these are the men that are saying, I don't date. Like, it's one thing to just be like, oh, like, I prefer whatever, but, like, they're normally saying something negative about dark skinned women or black women as they go on to, like, celebrate their preferences, and, like, that's how they're being treated. So I just had to add that in there. But, like, I went to Oklahoma. I went to the University of Oklahoma. And so there were a lot of athletes that went pro. And the girls that dated these athletes, I mean, almost all of them, when the relationship ended, went and dated a normal man and found so much happiness. Yeah, the man may not make as much money as the professional athlete, but you can see through their social media just like the increase, the overwhelmingly increase in happiness, and just how, like, their day to day, they just seem a lot better off. Like, money is not everything, and this proves it. It's like, oh yeah, you're dating a man with money, but like, look what else you're going through. I'm not willing to go through all that just because the man got some money. And maybe I'm different. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but it just like, that video was just like so disgusting to me. And then on top of all of that, she has to deal with that man for the rest of her life, not just 18 years. Like, legally, I guess they got to do each other for 18 years. But as long as their child is living, like, they got to be at proms and birthday parties and graduations and stuff and deal with that man for the rest of her life because she was not more selective in who she had a kid with. Like, that shit got to be so miserable. That has to be so miserable. Ladies, we have to pick better men because that man didn't just start acting like that out of nowhere. He been acting like that. He was acting like that before the baby came. Like, we just choose to ignore signs, and we need to start leaving these men at the first sign of abuse, at the first sign of aggression, at the first sign of like disrespect, because he did not just start acting like that 2 days ago. He been acting like that, and he probably, I'll go on my way to say that he probably made no attempt to even hide that he acted like that ever.